what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, actually, I wasn't even gonna record. I probably would have recorded some episodes later on tonight, but not right now. It's currently 9:27 p.m. and for some reason, at like maybe 8, 9 something, Xfinity just decided that nobody's not going to be able to use nothing. Cable, Wi-Fi, none of that. I've talked on how bad Xfinity is, and just to once again talk on how bad they are. If you are thinking about going to Xfinity, I would recommend looking at other options and seeing what's better than Xfinity. Call around, look, see, ask, go on Reddit, do something, to where you can think about your options before you just go to Xfinity. But if people are saying Xfinity is the best option, I am so sorry for the pain and sufferings that is coming your way. But anyways, I've talked on them before. I don't really have no desires on doing another episode about them again. I just wish that they would fix their crap, so I won't have to be forced to do things. And I hadn't even really thought on what I was gonna do. I was just sitting here being bored and just trying to see if my phone would work. Of course, iPhones. I ain't gonna talk on the iPhone right now, but anyways, it was all right, well, might as well record me a podcast episode or probably edit some videos. I should have probably been editing some videos instead of recording another podcast episode. But actually, no. Speaking of my podcast, no, I changed the, profile picture of it and all of that, so it's all different with YouTube, like any other podcast. I don't know if it's changed on any websites just yet, but it's definitely changed I announced it on Instagram, but I changed it on Anchor, changed it on the YouTube channel, so yeah, I was all I just don't know. I just felt like doing a change to it and things. I think that's what the main motivation behind it, though, was seeing Rory and Mo's new YouTube video that they did. I was like, that video was funny. For those that don't know who Rory and Mo is, there's a lot of controversy surrounding them. But they, with the video that they came out with today, it was like, bruh, them guys got so much more than just having a podcast in them. So I'm like, Rory and Mo, big shout out to them. But actually, what I wanted to talk on before I, got sidetracked, distracted, and anything else you want to throw in play. But before I got distracted, I wanted to talk on how I don't believe conspiracy theories. I know people will probably look at me like I'm crazy, but actually, no, I'm slapping down my Uno reverse card. I'm looking at y'all like y'all is crazy. Really, people are saying that the coronavirus is like a 5G network, or that's how we got the coronavirus, is by 5G network. And I'm like, fam, 5G network came out before COVID. I'm kind of confused on that. And then people are saying that with the vaccines, you're getting chips inserted into you and stuff. And I'm like, is that allowed? You guys sit down and think about it. Even when they said with the whole thing where people are inserting chips in their hands to open up car doors or any of that other extra stuff, is that stuff allowed? Is that gonna cause, there's a lot of things already in this world that's causing us so many body misfunctions and all that stuff, but I just don't think that they would add more to it and purposely add more to it. Overall, doing something as crazy as that, why can't we just have it where there's a chip or our phone or, technology that's already been invented and do that? So I'm like, and then getting back onto the whole thing where people are saying the vaccine is, all it is just the government inserting chips in you and stuff. I'm like, fam, I don't know overall what the government will be looking at, especially with me, but overall I'm like, bro, there's so many different things that they can put chips at. If they really want to, they can drop that crap on our house when we're asleep. What else? Literally, chips can be anywhere. They could be in a bag of chips. I'm saying, but jokes aside, that stuff the government, if they wanted to watch us, literally, we couldn't even do anything about it if they wanted to look us right in our face and watch us. So that's why I'm like, I'm not hearing it with that whole, the government is watching this, that, blah, blah. I'm like, I just it's shout out to Priscilla. She just texted me right now. But anyways, yeah, we were texting prior before I did this episode. But anyways, I'm gonna have to respond a little bit later. But no, I'm like with that type of stuff, like and they're saying the government is literally behind everything that go down in the world. I'm like, there's probably is some things I have to say the government is behind. Like I ain't gonna deny that. There's at times where I'm like, you know what? Like it makes sense because I'm like, when you see movies or or watch TV shows, read books, articles, and a bunch of other stuff, like you do hear at times where the government they are behind some things, but I'm like I'm not gonna say behind everything, like there's some things out there where I'm like, do you really think the government? I remember it was people were trying to say that about Nipsey Hussle, and that's why I think it was at that moment when Nipsey Hussle when he passed it was at that moment that's when I stopped believing in those like government hits and all that crap because I remember. So for those that don't know who Nipsey Hussle is, Nipsey Hussle was a artist, a music artist. Sadly, tragically, he was shot and killed a couple of years ago on March 31st. And I remember it was like right after he did, and it was crazy because I was like I wasn't even like a big fan of Nipsey Hussle. I knew who he was, but I wouldn't like. I'm not gonna say that I was a big fan of him and stuff. So I'm like, at least I'm gonna be honest about that and stuff because I don't want to be like, oh yeah, I'm the biggest fan of Nipsey Hussle. I'm like, nah. If anything's, because I think I talked about this in another episode. Like I was an Aftermath fan. Like after the fact, sadly after the fact of him passing away, that's when I ended up like remembering his name and listening to his music and remembering his face and all of that. So but prior before, I think it was the only song that I really did hear of his, and it was like I think I had forgot that he was a part of that song was the Donald Trump diss track that him and YG did, and so yeah, it was. But no, anyways, but like going back to what I was saying, but with when Nipsey when he died, people are saying that oh it was a professional hit, like who does these things and does. I'm like, were you guys there though? Like that's the type of stuff where I'm like people that wasn't there and then make it seem like that they know everything. And then when it came out that he got into it with another gang member and that gang member got upset and came back and shot him, I was like, okay, there's the story right there. There were witnesses right there. I'm like, what are you guys talking about? Like, it's that type of stuff when I'm like, where does that even come from? That is the most randomest thing. But they were saying that, oh, it's because of the stuff that he was saying in his music, or he was working on a documentary prior before his death, and all these other different things. I'm like, man, you guys, y'all really believe that stuff too. That's what I'm like, man, sorry, I can't believe it, but I'm like, I actually legit can't believe that stuff because I'm like, it just doesn't make any sense. Do you know how many people can talk on that, promote that, come out with documentaries? Like, literally, I can come out with a documentary talking about the same man he was talking about. There ain't gonna be no professionals chasing after me and stuff like that. That type of stuff. It's just when people and they say that where it's like, oh, a person gets shot and killed. There's like, oh, it was a professional hit. Oh, these an assassin did it. The government, all this, the Illuminati. I'm like, man, it's just crazy when people do things like that. But it's like everybody tries to tie in. You have that one conspiracy theorist out there that exists where they try to tie in everybody's death. I think I even seen the same thing with Michael Jackson. People was trying to have conspiracy theories surrounding his death, and it's like, no. Like the man, he took some some bad drugs and he overall died. Like, who else? I'm pretty sure there's so many other people. Tupac probably the prime example. But it wasn't the government, but it's the Illuminati, and that's just to really trash on that whole. Because I have yet to see anything's Illuminati related. Like I've seen videos, but it's like, what is the Illuminati? Like if we're gonna sit down and talk on them real quick, what is the Illuminati? Because I have no idea what it is. All I know is that they're fascinated with pyramids, and people think that the Illuminati killed Tupac. But it was like, but after like reading through and seeing like how Tupac actually died, so my theory, which is probably the most realistic theory, and actually ain't even a theory, it's actual factuals and stuff, like even one of the witnesses. So overall, let me just tell y'all the actual events of Tupac's death. So prior before Tupac had was shot in things, because he didn't die right away. I think they say he died some days later. But prior before Tupac was shot, he got into a fight at a casino. And he got into a fight with a gang member. Now, the gang member mentality, their mindset is that when somebody, a part of their gang, gets jumped by a rival gang, that's gonna start up something. That's gonna start up something major. Bloodshed most likely will happen. Bullets will go flying. Everything possible. All right. So the man was by himself. I think he was there. So I don't know if he was there with people or he called people and they showed up later. But anyways, regardless, he overall got some of his people, and I'm pretty sure if anybody's gonna be like no, or his friends, gang members, whoever they were, they're gonna be like, nah, bro, you ain't gonna just let this slide. You gotta do something about this. Or second conversation, we got to do something about this. We can't just let this slide. So either they told him that he had to do it or they was going to do it. One of those two conversations. So sometime later, Tupac and his entourage is out, traveling to a club. And it's crazy because I remember the club's name because when I would my punch out number at work was the number that was the name of the club and stuff. It was called Club 662, and that was the ending digits of my punch out number for my job. So I don't know why I always remember that, but it was something I was like, oh wow, that's crazy. So, but anyways, but no. So when they were traveling, so Tupac and his entourage was traveling to that club. And the same guy that he fought, and I think it was his uncle and two other friends of theirs, pulled up beside Tupac and got the shooting into his car. The man, and it's crazy because the guy that Tupac fought, I think his name was Orlando Anderson. Orlando Anderson's uncle came out and said that they circled back and somebody from his car, he confessed. He pretty much had snitched on his own friends and family and stuff. He confessed saying that one of us had shot him, but I can't say it due to the code and stuff. And I'm like, fam, you already said it. So I'm like, dude, you already told. That's the crazy thing about it. It's you might as well just say who was the one that pulled the trigger and stuff. But anyways, but he did say it came from the back seat. And he did say Orlando Anderson, and it was a friend of theirs was sitting in the back seat. But I think we all know who did it and stuff. So, who knows? Maybe it was Orlando Anderson's friend. But if it wasn't, then it was Orlando Anderson. So, plus even the way that man was acting when he was on the news, because they asked him okay, you're the main suspect out of this whole murder situation with Tupac. What do you have to say? And he's all smiling, laughing, acting like because if they were accusing me and I know I had nothing to do with it, I would have been on TV acting so dramatic. Because I've been look, I don't know who it was, but they need to come forward. Because I'm everybody thinking it's me, and I'm it is not. In that interview, if y'all watch that interview, just look up Orlando Anderson interview or whatever or something. Or, look up, I think that was his name. But anyways, look up his interview, and he was all calm, laid back. He was all man, ain't nobody killed Tupac. He was it wasn't me. He was I don't know. I'm a fan of Tupac. And he's doing that. And I'm do you hear how my voice sounds? Do you hear how how rised up I feel right now? I'm bro, I wasn't even a part of it. I don't even think I was born, but I think I might have been a month old, or almost a month old. So I'm well, ain't no way possible I couldn't, why somebody gonna be oh, nope, you was a part of it. And I was I was I was probably, well, how long does baby's usually in the hospital. I don't know. I ain't never had kids before, so I'm I don't know how long a kid usually would stay in I hope not no month. I'm there's something going on with the baby then, but I was probably at home, chilling, probably crying or something, I don't know, but anyways, but yeah, I was that whole situation, people are all oh, the Illuminati killed Tupac, and I'm who is the Illuminati? And what, just because I think he named one of his albums after the Illuminati, or I can't remember exactly what he called it, but I'm bruh, do you know how many people most likely have went by that name or have taken that name for their likings, to just have something to say about it? I don't know how that stuff came up. I don't know how that stuff came about. I don't know, overall, what was the origins of the Illuminati. But at the end of the day, the Illuminati is Hollywood stuff, okay? It is Hollywood stuff. It is just things to talk about in movies. It's things to just get a rise out of people on social media, all of that stuff. Okay, all of it. So that's why I'm like, I'm not hearing it, when people talk on that, or what are some other conspiracy theories. I just remember then there was, going back to that 5G stuff. I just remember it was that one singer. I'm like, that's why you haven't came out with no hits in years. Like, last hit you had was that song with Kanye and Neo, Knock You Down. But it was like Carrie Hilson or some stuff like that. I think that was her name. I don't know. But anyways, yeah, she came out and was all like, oh, the COVID started because of the 5G network. And I'm like, so a cell phone idea caused COVID. I'm like, how come it didn't happen when it was 4G, 3G, 2G, or 1G or something? Like, it happened all of a sudden because of like 5G came up. So what's gonna be 6G? World 3? Like, man, get out of here with that stuff. I was like, that's why I'm like, when they get to talking about stuff like that, like, oh, this started because of this, or like, just all them conspiracy theories, I don't believe them. I'm sorry. I'm like, I will entertain it for just, comedy purposes. But other than that, to be dead serious about it, to be as truthful and honest as I possibly can, I don't care for the Illuminati. I don't care for no government attacks, quote unquote government attacks, or 5G or any of that stuff. Because I'm like, none of it is as real as you guys try to make it out to be and stuff. So I know I probably made a lot of conspiracy theorists people upset. And I know there's going to probably be some people that try to reach out to me, leave out some long paragraph thing talking about those are just only the main conspiracy theories that everybody likes to blow up and talk about. But back in the 1800s in 1812, when Abraham Lincoln was doing his thing at a grocery store, he was handed it like that's some conspiracy theory stuff where it's like, okay, were you alive back then to witness this note being passed around? Is there like picture proof? Because my thing is like, okay, the only way I would believe that, right, is if we get the DeLorean from Back to the Future, we type in 1812 at that grocery store that Abraham Lincoln was at, okay, go 80, what was it, 80 or 88 miles per hour? Regardless, we just gonna go at 80 something miles per hour, all right? Let the little things go flying across the car, and then we're gonna go back to that time. Honestly, I would like to see how times were back then. They probably would look at me and be like, hey, yo, what's he doing? But because because of my skin, thing got going on. I'm black, okay? I'm African American, but anyways, but yeah, like, people, look, with these conspiracy theories, don't let this stuff, get all in your head and make you go crazy. And now people are looking at you like I can't even have a conversation with them anymore because they're not wired right and stuff. So I'm like, I just gotta, let that person be. But anyways, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you're viewing this on YouTube, make sure you like and subscribe. And if you're viewing this on the podcast streaming service, make sure you follow or subscribe, however it's set up. Make sure you subscribe to one of my 32 YouTube channels. Follow me on Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, and Instagram at TMossBoss. Like my page on Facebook at TMossBoss fan page. If you're looking to buy anything from SeatGeek, you can use my promo code TMossBoss and it'll knock $20 off of your first purchase. Or if you want to check out Rogue Energy and see some of the gaming gear that they got, like drinks, cups, they probably got like a bunch of other things I need to check and stuff, so I could give you guys a little bit more context of what they have. But yeah, go check them out, go see what they got going on and stuff. But in the meantime, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening, and peace.